Hello, everybody. Welcome to SoulSpace podcast number 102.
Welcome.
Yay. We're just cruising through the hundreds. Isn't that crazy?
I think that's amazing. And
Yeah.
it's perfect that we're in the hundreds because we are talking about abundance.
Yes.
So it's amazing. You guys have an abundance of podcasts to listen to.
Right.
Or watch.
Yeah. And today we're going to talk about attracting abundance into your experience.
Which is like an amazing topic, right? Aren't we all so excited about that? Excited about it?
Yeah. It is fun to attract abundance, isn't it? And it makes it more fun when you get excited about it and when you know that you can do it.
Yes.
And it just getting into that energy of abundance is fun. And it doesn't have to be all about money either. It can be abundance. Like right now, there's abundance of flowers going on right now, in our area. It's just starting to be summer and the temps are warming up and the sun's been shining. We had a lot of rain. So it's really, really colorful out there right now and lush.
Yeah, there's so many different forms of abundance.
Yeah.
Money is one that is important in our experience. And so we're going to touch on that today.
Yeah.
But also, like you said, think about abundance in all of its forms.
Yeah.
Abundance in nature, abundance in relationships, abundance in happiness, abundance in love, abundance in fun and experiences. Even abundance in things can be really fun depending on if it's something you love. So there's so many different ways to experience abundance.
Right.
And to see it becoming in your experience.
Yeah.
See it coming into your experience and to experience it. And so it's really fun to think about. Once you expand your mind into what abundance is and can be in your life, that makes it even more fun.
Yeah, it does. And when you don't get stuck in that only about the money thing, you're expanding your experience so much when you think about abundance all around you, and it just makes the money come that much easier. When you're thinking about abundance in your whole life, in nature, in everything around you. And it just makes it so much more fun.
Yeah. And I had such a random thought. So Tracy just got these amazing new pants, which I love. They're just so cute. And it has 2 sets of pockets. And all I could think, what I call pockets are snack holes. Because pockets are snack holes, right? Like you always got to have your snacks. And so I was thinking about how many snacks you can shove into the pockets because it's like cargo pockets.
Your pants would probably fall off.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, like, you could fit an abundance of snacks in your pants. And that's like another way to think of abundance, right? Because who doesn't want an abundance of snacks, like on trips?
Right. Yeah. That's fun.
Hiking little trails.
They'd be good hiking pants too. They're so comfy.
So abundance, you can think of it in so many different ways. And that was a super random thought that I had just a few minutes ago.
That's good,
you guys.
That's really good. Yeah. I'm gonna think about that all night now. I'll start laughing.
Yeah, then you'll have the giggles and you'll feel even more abundant.
Yeah, that's so good. So we're gonna read a little bit out of one of our other favorite books.
You have so many favorite books. I mean, it's crazy, but
but this is really one that we use a lot.
The Money and the Law of Attraction. So it's Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks.
Yeah.
Learning to attract wealth, health, and happiness.
Yeah. It's all of it. All of it is abundance. And you know how much we love Esther Hicks and Abraham. So can't go wrong reading any of her books. So
it's good. Amazing. And so I found this chapter, which really illustrates our topic today of attracting abundance and what that means, especially in terms of the laws of our universe, the law of attraction and the law of resonance and vibration and things like that. So I think you guys are going to love it. And we'll, of course, discuss it like we always do.
Yeah, it's good.
Ready?
Love it.
All right, we're going to start with the first piece of it. So if you do have this book, if you're lucky enough to own it like us, because it's amazing, I am on page 61, which is the topic is attracting money and manifesting abundance. So this is in the part 2. attracting money and manifesting abundance section, which, makes sense. That's what we're doing today.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. While money is not absolutely essential to your experience, most people, money and freedom are synonymous. And since an intense awareness of your right to be free is at the very core of that which you are, it follows, therefore, that your relationship with money is one of the most important subjects of your life experience. And so it is no wonder that you have strong feelings about the subject of money. Although some people have discovered the freedom of allowing large amounts of money to flow through their experiences, it is more often the case that because you are experiencing far less money than you need or desire, most of you are not feeling free. It is our intention here to clearly explain why this financial disparity exists so that you can begin to allow the abundance that you want and deserve into your experience. For as you read these words and as you begin to resonate with these law-based truths, you will align your desire with the abundance of your world, and the evidence of your newfound alignment will soon become apparent to you and to others who observe you. Whether you are one who has been working to achieve financial abundance for many years, or you are a youngster just starting down the path, the journey to financial well-being does not have to be a long one from where you are. And it does not require large amounts of time or physical effort. For we are going to explain to you in simple and easy to understand terms how to utilize the leverage of energy that is available to you. We want to show you the absolute correlation between the thoughts you have been thinking about money, the way you feel when you think those thoughts, and the money that flows into your experience. When you are able to consciously make that correlation and you decide to deliberately direct your thoughts accordingly, you will access the power of the universe, and you will then see how time and physical effort are rather irrelevant to your financial success. So we begin with a simple premise of your universe and of your world. You get what you think about. Often people say to us, that can't be true, because I have wanted and thought about more money for as long as I can remember, but I continue to struggle with not enough money. I mean, how many of us have said that before?
Right, yeah.
And what we then tell them is the most important thing for you to understand if you want to improve your financial situation. The subject of money is really two subjects. One, money, plenty of money, the feeling of freedom and the ease that plenty of money can provide. And two, absence of money, not nearly enough money, the feeling of fear and disappointment the thought of absence of money induces. Often people assume that because they are speaking the words, I want more money, they're speaking positively about money. But when you are speaking of money or anything, and you are feeling fear or discomfort as you speak, you are not speaking of the subject of money, but instead you are speaking of the subject of not enough money. And the difference is very important because the first statement brings money and the second holds it away.
Yeah, that's a really important thought right there. When you're wanting something, you're always wanting it, right? So you need to switch your way of thinking and your way of talking about it as you already have it, or it feels so good to have it, or you don't want to say things in the wanting mode. You want to say them as if they're coming already.
Because you've already expressed that you want it.
Right.
It's already out there to the universe.
Yeah.
And one way that I describe this a lot to clients when I meet with them is, so when you say, I want that, you're expressing the lack of that thing.
Yeah.
When you say, I want it, you feel that negative in it, that like, I want it, but.
Yeah.
When you say that, I want it, you have that, I want it. You have that, I want it, but I don't have it in there.
Right.
But when you say, I have decided to have more money.
Right.
That has a completely different feel to it.
It does.
Than saying I want that.
Yeah.
When you say I want that, you're saying I don't have it. When you're saying I've decided to have that, you're saying I have it and I feel it on its way to me already.
Yeah.
There's a totally different energy and vibration in those two statements and in the way that you feel when you say them, which tells you which one is vibrationally holding you away and which is vibrationally bringing it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you start to notice how you're speaking about those kind of things, wanting stuff or having abundance or a new car or whatever it is, if you notice how you're speaking about it, you can switch that so easily by just paying attention to how it's coming out of your mouth. And just switching a couple words around. That's all you have to do to create that momentum of things coming in instead of always being in the future wanting,
Right. Because the words that you speak have power,
Mhm.
and the words express your thoughts and your emotions, and
Right.
they make you feel a certain way when you think them or you
Mhm.
speak them.
Yeah.
And so when you speak something and it doesn't feel good to you, that's telling you that you are holding yourself away from where your inner being knows you want to be.
And you can be. Yeah.
And where you can be, and where the things are that you've asked for.
Yeah.
And so if it doesn't feel good to you when you think that thought, oh, that thought is holding me away from the path that I've set for myself towards the things that I want.
Right.
I'm pulling myself vibrationally away from the things that could be coming to me right now that I said that I've wanted.
Yeah.
And so how can I flip that around to start to create vibrationally the energy of what it is that I want, so it can finally make its way into my experience and I won't continue to experience that lack.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's so fun when you start to notice that and can switch that around and see how fast things start to flow. Even when you're paying bills, saying thank you as you write out a check. Many of us don't write out checks anymore very often, but I do sometimes, yeah, but a couple bills still, but
here and there.
When you're paying online, when you click send or complete or whatever, is say thank you, and feel good about paying that bill. I'm so happy I have electricity every day. I'm so happy I have internet every day, whatever that is, just being grateful. And we talk about gratitude all the time, being thankful and grateful that we have those things that we take for granted because we always have them. Some people don't have that, and we're so lucky to have those conveniences in our lives right now. So
100%.
when we get in that grateful mode or being, not taking it for granted, it helps create more flow of all the things.
Right.
So
and noticing the abundance you currently have in all of the different forms also helps to put you in that mode of, wow, I do have so much. Even if you have very little, there are things that you have a lot of.
Yeah.
And things that you can appreciate and be like, oh my gosh, I really love that. I'm so happy that I have this, or I have this person in my life, or, there's just so many different things, or I have all of this knowledge, maybe you got a really good education. There's so many things that you can be abundant in.
Yeah.
And so starting to notice those little nuggets of gold in your life starts that momentum, like you said, towards towards feeling better, towards being in the vibration of receiving it.
Yeah. And here's a little example that is kind of weird right now, but I mean, when you think about it, it is the law of attraction at its best. And that's the algorithm of social media. If we're talking about a shoe that we really love or a new phone or whatever, all of a sudden it shows up on your social media. Or if you search something in Google, pretty soon you're getting all kinds of different things coming your way. That's how the law of attraction works.
Like attract
it's
like.
an algorithm of the universe. Really, it is. I have signed up the last since early this winter. I started really diving into artwork and studying art, taking art classes online, and now I noticed today my email is full of art stuff, and it's so awesome because I love art, and where it used to be all sell, 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 do this, and that felt icky to me. I never liked to be a salesperson, or I never, I like marketing per se, but I don't like that go, 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 go attitude all the time.
Right.
And so now my inbox is full of, oh, learn how to do this technique, or here's, this week's class is, learning watercolor, whatever. And it just feels so good to be attracting a whole different genre of things right now. And, whatever you're into, I get a lot of natural healing stuff, which I love because I am in the healing world too, along with the artsy. So having that just automatically come to me. Sometimes it's something really good, sometimes it's junk, but it's more good than not, and it's because of that algorithm. And when you think of the law of attraction as another algorithm, and just keep doing the things that feel good and that are bringing you that thing that you're working on, it's amazing how it works.
What ads do you want from the universe?
Right. Yeah.
What do you want more of? What do you want to learn more of?
Yeah.
What do you want more abundance of? Who do you want to hear from?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I like that. That's a really good it's a good example.
Yeah.
A lot of us can relate to that.
Right. And now everything's about algorithms and searches and all that. Well, it's the same thing when you look back, the universe has had those algorithms since forever.
Right.
And that's what the laws of the universe are. It's really cool. Yeah. Anyway,
Amazing.
Off on a little wormhole there, but
I like it.
it's good. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to finish this piece and then we'll move on to the next part that we wanted to talk about. Okay, so we just talked about how one statement brings money and one holds it away from us. It is of value for you to become aware of how you are really thinking and, more important, feeling about money. If you are thinking or saying things like, oh, that is a very beautiful thing, but I cannot afford it, you are not in the vibrational position to allow in the abundance you desire. The feeling of disappointment that is present as you acknowledge that you cannot afford it is your indicator that the balance of your thought is pointed more toward the lack of your desire than toward the desire itself. The negative emotion that you feel as you acknowledge that you cannot afford something that you want is one way of understanding the balance of your thoughts, and the amount of abundance that you are actually experiencing is another way of knowing. Many people continue to perpetuate the experience of not enough in their lives simply because they do not think beyond the reality of what they are actually experiencing. In other words, if they are experiencing the shortage of money and are aware of it and speak of it often, they hold themselves in that chronic position. And so, many people protest when we explain to them the power of telling the story of their finances as they want it to be, rather than as it is, because they believe that they should be factual about what is happening. But we want you to understand that if you continue to look at what is and speak of what is, you will not find the improvement that you desire. You may see a parade of changing faces and places, but your life experiences will essentially show no improvement. If you want to affect substantial change in your life experience, you have to offer substantially different vibrations, which means you must think thoughts that feel different as you think them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the feeling.
It really is. Your feeling tells you where your thought is vibrationally.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what our feelings are for. They're our guidance system.
Right. And that's why we have freedom release method to release those icky yucky feelings that we don't want to have anymore.
And our thoughts
That
that
are,
go along with them.
yeah,
The
and that
thoughts
are
that create that.
holding us back from the good feelings that we want to have. So, yeah,
Exactly.
it's awesome.
So we can create more alignment with what we want.
Mhm.
Beauteous.
Yeah.
Beauteous. So I wanted to do this next section on what is my financial abundance story. Did you want to read some of that?
Sure.
Because it's amazing. You guys will love this section. It's great.
Yeah. So, what is my financial abundance story? And this is page 72. Abraham, a belief in lack is the reason that more people are not allowing themselves the financial abundance they desire. When you believe that there is an infinite pile of abundance and that there is not enough to go around, and yeah,
there's a finite,
and that there's not enough to go around, and so you feel injustice when someone has more than others, believing that because they have it, others are deprived of having it, you are holding yourself apart from abundance. And a lot of people get in that cycle. Oh, they have more than I do. They have it all, or they feel, in a position of a store that has the same thing as another store, that competition, some people feel negative towards that. But really, if there's competition, it keeps everybody on their toes more, and they give better service, and all around, it's a better way to look at things.
They're not taking away from each
Right.
other.
There's plenty to go around for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, is people think that they're
in lack.
resources. There's not enough.
Yeah.
But there is, and
Right.
Abraham will go into that too.
Yeah. It is not another's achievement of success that is responsible for your lack of achievement, but rather it is your negative comparison and your attention to the lack of your own desire. When you feel the negative emotion that you feel as you accuse others of injustice or of squandering wealth or hoarding, or when you simply believe that there is not enough to go around, you hold yourself in the position of denying your own improved condition. And you can see where that holds that negative energy when you're feeling like that, right?
And you're basically saying that to yourself, that you don't deserve to have all the things that you want. And you're saying that because they have it, I can't have it.
Right.
And why would you say that to yourself?
Yeah.
Because that's not true. It's not what you want, is it? So you're telling yourself a negative story and perpetuating that story of not enough and lack and I can't be successful.
Right.
And that's not serving where you want to be, because you've asked for something different. And so those thoughts feel bad to you because you're holding yourself away from what it is that you really want with that story.
And what feels good to you.
And what feels good to you.
Right.
Yes, because you know that you deserve to be successful and have abundance and have tons of money and enjoy your life.
Yeah.
And anything in opposition to that, it doesn't feel good to you.
Yeah. What anyone else has or does not have has nothing to do with you. The only thing that affects your experience is the way you utilize the non-physical energy with your thought. Your abundance or lack of it in your experience has nothing to do with what anybody else is doing or having. It has only to do with your perspective. It has only to do with your offering of thought. If you want your fortunes to shift, you have to begin telling a different story. And that's so true. And I know sometimes when we're in the thick of it, we don't notice what we're doing when we're doing that.
Right.
But when you start to pay attention and start to notice where your dominant thoughts are, you can switch it easily, because you'll feel it in your body that you're not doing or saying the right things. You're not uplifting yourself.
Right.
So,
and it really brings it back to what they just said in the previous section, really, is that if you continue to tell the same story you perpetuate the loop of the same story.
Right.
And it continues and continues ad nauseum. So if what you're focusing on is your current what is, rather than what you want it to be, and you're saying, well, this is what's in my life and it's creating me feeling that way. No, you're allowing that to just continue the loop rather than deliberately creating what it is that you want with your thoughts, with your feelings, and with telling that different story.
Creating that new path. Just like Einstein said, what doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is insanity. Well, that's what's happening. Right. So change it. Anyway, many people criticize those who are living well, who accumulate land and money and things, and that criticism is symptomatic of their own lackful habit of thought. They want to feel better and often believe that if they can make that which they are unable to achieve wrong, then they will feel better. But they never do feel better because their attention to lack perpetuates lack everywhere they look. They would not feel uncomfortable in seeing someone else's achievement if that desire for achievement were not present within themselves as well. And that criticism that they often keep alive within themselves only serves to hold them in vibrational discord with what they want. In other words, if someone called you on the telephone and said to you, "Hello, you don't know me, but I'm calling to tell you that I will never call you again," you would not feel negative emotion about the caller's absence from your life because his or her presence was not something that you desired to begin with. I love that.
I know, this is one of my favorite analogies.
But if someone you care about were to make that announcement to you, you would feel strong negative emotion because your desire and your belief would then be at odds. When you feel negative emotion about anything, it always means that you have a desire that has been born from your personal life experience that you are right now opposing with other thoughts. Vibrational discord is always the reason for negative emotion. And negative emotion is always guidance to help you redirect your thoughts to find vibrational alignment with who you really are and with your current desires. So good. I love that section so much. It's, you don't know until you know, right? And once you know, you can't go back. It's harder to go back.
And it hits you harder if you do go back.
Right.
And creates really strong emotion. But what you know then, when you have that strong negative emotion, that tells you that's your time to pivot. That's saying, hey, pay attention. This is what's happening. And that does happen to all of us.
It does.
But once you know to pay attention to it and you know what that means, you can begin your pivot sooner. So you don't go boop, 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 all the way down. Right?
Yeah.
You have the molehills instead of the mountains, like we've talked about before. And what I love about this is it talks about really paying attention to your guidance, because your guidance is telling you, am I in the lack side of things or am I the abundance side of things? Where am I at? Where do I want to be? And if I'm not there, what's my next step to move toward it again?
Right. And always being solution focused. So you can just change your thoughts and feel better. So why don't we do that? We need to start doing that right away. And then we're not going to slip down that slope so far. Each time we're going to get farther ahead and farther ahead.
Right, because the vibration of the solution is not the vibration of the problem.
Right.
So if you're in the vibration of the problem, the solution that's on its way to you can't make its way to you. So you need to get out of the vibration of the problem and move toward the vibration of the solution. And that's really what that is. And by improving the way that you feel, you're improving your vibration, which allows you to focus
Yeah.
on the solution, to move toward it, to allow it to move toward you,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I'll talk about this in a
Good
minute,
stuff,
but
good stuff.
there's something in here that there's an analogy that Abraham brought up when we were in Denver, when we saw Abraham in Denver.
Yeah.
And I don't want to forget to bring it up. So if I forget, would you
Okay.
remind me? Analogy from Denver, Carissa.
Okay. Okay.
There's two of them, but there's one in particular that
Yeah.
this kind of brings to mind.
Awesome.
And so this is one section that I thought would be really useful because we're talking about pivoting, right? For
Mhm.
all of us, because it's called to reverse a downward spiral.
Mm. Awesome.
And don't we all want to know how to
Yeah.
do that?
Wouldn't want to know that.
Okay, so Jerry's asking a question to Abraham. Jerry, when I would see people having financial problems, I used to worry about them. I would watch as they spiraled down, 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 until they would finally come crashing down in bankruptcy. But then in a very short time, they would have another new boat, a new luxury car, and another beautiful home. In other words, no one I watched seemed to stay down. But why couldn't they stop the downward spiral somewhere earlier along the way and start back upward sooner? Why did so many of them have to go all the way to the bottom before they could start back up again? Abraham. The reason for any downward spiral is attention to lack. In their fear that they might lose something, or in their attention to things that they were losing, they were focused upon the lack of what they wanted. And as long as that was their point of attention, only more loss was possible. As they felt guarded or defensive, or as they began to justify or rationalize or blame, they were on the lack side of the equation, and only more lack could be their experience. But once they hit bottom and were no longer in a place of guardedness because there was nothing else to lose, their attention shifted, and so the vibration shifted, and so their point of attraction shifted. Hitting what they believed to be the bottom caused them to begin to look up. You could say that it forced them to begin telling a different story. Your life experience has caused you to ask for many wonderful things that are making their way into your experience. But your worry or doubt or fear or resentment or blame or jealousy or any number of negative emotions would indicate that the predominant thoughts you were thinking were holding these things away. It would be as if you had drawn them right outside your door, but your door was closed. As you begin to tell a different story of the things you could buy with $100 bill, and this was something that they talked about just before this section, as you relax and focus more upon the positive aspects of your life, as you more deliberately choose the better feeling end of the vibrational stick, that door will open and you will be flooded with manifestations of those wanted things and experiences and relationships.
I love that. It's so fun to do that, like the $100 bill exercise that she's talked about before, where you, even if it's a $50 bill or $20 bill, whatever, go to the mall or go to a store and you have that money in your purse or billfold or pocket. Doesn't mean you have to spend it, but you can go searching for all the cool things you could buy if you wanted to. And it just by doing that, even if you're not going to spend it, it gets your vibration higher and it feels good to be like, oh, I could buy that if I wanted. I could buy that,
And you enjoy the feeling of the flow of that money. Like, oh man, I could have that. And wasn't that so fun? Like, that's amazing. Yeah. I'm going to put that on my list of things to buy.
Yeah.
And just, and be yourself having it and spending that money. Yeah. It changes your vibration completely.
Yeah, it really does. It's really fun to do. Even, if you just don't feel like shopping, but you just do it to have fun sometime if you're bored.
Or even do it in your mind.
Yeah.
Keep it in your pocket and think about all of the fun things that you could spend it on if you wanted to, or all the things that you could have.
Yeah.
And pretty soon you spent, $100,000 in your mind. And think of the flow that creates.
Is giving you that energy of actually doing it. Yeah. You don't really have to do it. You can just play.
Yeah, because like they've said before, and like many people who do this type of work and research talk about, your subconscious mind does not know the difference between imagining doing it and
Mhm.
actually doing it.
Yeah.
It doesn't know the difference between money flowing in and out, imagining it, or the
Mhm.
real thing. And so it creates that flow, whether you're actually doing it
Yeah.
or imagining doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your subconscious mind does not know the difference. And isn't that amazing?
It is.
And
It's
that's what
so cool.
creates.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love this because it talks about just, we want to reverse that downward spiral. Who wants a downward spiral?
Right.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
No, not at all.
Okay. So there's one more section that I think is going to be super helpful and relevant to everybody who's here. Because I started reading, I was like, yes, this is the bee's knees.
The ticket.
I mean, everything in this book is the bee's knees.
Yeah, it is.
I know, some people say that, some people don't. Most of them are old. I'm gonna say it anyway. It's awesome. I love that phrase. Everybody say it. Just like I say cheese and crackers. We need to bring that back. Yes. I heard somebody else say cheese and crackers
Really?
on a show, and I was like, I see why I'm following you. I totally get it. I was like, we are in vibrational alignment, because that's what I say. Because at work, I need to not swear,
Right.
which in my personal life is difficult because my family does a lot, and so.
And the people you hang around with.
And so I started at work, I started saying cheese and crackers, like cheese and crackers, because it's easy. It doesn't sound like anything.
Yeah.
I can't slip up with that.
Yeah.
Right. And it just naturally came out of me one day. I was like, perfect. That's what I'm going to use.
Yeah.
And now everybody at work uses it. And now I'm seeing other people that don't actually know me say it live. And I'm like, yes, we're bringing it back. Everybody's going to say it. Anyway, so if you're looking for a non-swear word to say that you can say around children, cheese and crackers. Yeah. It's great. It's fun to say.
Yeah.
All right.
It's good.
Anyway. All right. So I am on page 86, if you have this book. And the section is called, Is Spending Money Comfortable? A very prevalent way of looking at money was expressed to us by a woman who explained that she always felt uncomfortable when she spends her money. She had, over time, managed to save quite a bit of money, but whenever she would think about spending some of it, she would freeze up and feel afraid to go another step further. We explained, it is certainly understandable that when you believe that your money is coming to you because of the action that you are offering, and you also believe that you will not always be able to offer that action, you would want to hold on to your money and spend it sparingly to make it last. However, that feeling of shortage slows the process of more money flowing into your experience. If you feel uncomfortable with the idea of spending money, then we absolutely do not encourage you to spend the money while you are feeling uncomfortable, because any action taken amidst negative emotion is never a good idea. But the reason for your discomfort is not about the action of spending the money, but instead, it is an indication that your thoughts about money in that moment are not a vibrational match to your own desire. A belief in shortage will never resonate with your broader knowing because there is no shortage. Any attention to lack of something wanted will always produce negative emotion within you because your guidance is letting you know that you have strayed from your broader basic understanding of abundance and well-being. And so I think this part is one of the most important parts of this book, because it's telling you, okay, so if I'm not comfortable spending the money I have, if I feel discomfort, I feel sad, I feel upset, I feel mad spending my money, that tells you that you're in vibrational misalignment with your own abundance, the abundance that your inner self, your inner being, your higher self, your spirit knows is available to you.
Yeah.
And so that's where that discomfort and that emotion comes from. And so that tells you that this would be a good time to begin shifting how you feel in that area, because you're in misalignment with what it is that you've been asking for and what you want for your life. Yeah.
Yeah. And something that can help you do that is to just go buy a coffee or do something a little bit to get that flow going again. You don't have to spend a lot, go buy an apple something that you don't need per se.
A snack for your road trip that you can put in
Right.
your snack holes.
Yeah, 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 in your pocket, whatever it is, just to get that flow going again. It's amazing what just something that simple can do.
It starts the momentum
Mhm.
moving again. Like this is something I could spend a little bit of money on and feel good
Yeah,
spending that money, that
Mhm.
$1 that I
yeah,
have to get like a bag of chips or something.
right.
Something that's like, okay, that feels good. I can do that.
Mhm.
Something small.
Or something that you're doing anyway, like buying a coffee and you buy the next person's too. Just something little, doesn't have to be expensive. Just do that. Or you see a kids at a lemonade stand, go give them $5 for a cup of lemonade.
Yeah.
Give them an extra amount, so you're making them feel happy.
You experience the joy together.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really
That's
fun.
really
I
fun.
love doing that.
Yeah.
My husband and I do that. And my sister-in-law and her husband do that a lot too in Bismarck. And they'll do, how much is it a cup or a glass? Okay, how about 20? And they'll go,
Light up. Yeah.
can't take that much. Yes, you can, and it's just so fun to do it. Or 10, 5, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Kids appreciate that so much.
Oh, they do.
It's fun.
100%.
Yeah.
Or even like something that you need to do, like I need to go get gas in my car.
Right.
You can say, oh my gosh, I so appreciate
Mhm.
that I have the money to put gas in my car. That
Yeah.
feels really good to me because I know I still need to get around and that helps me make more money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm increasing my abundance by spending money on the gas to get me to the places I need to go.
Right.
Yeah. Doing things like that can flip it, and yours brings joy to everybody.
It
And I
does.
mean, how can you not feel good?
Yeah.
Giving money to kids. I mean, that's just one of the joys of life.
That's fun. Yeah. Yeah. My husband does that all the time too at hockey games or whatever, he'll buy a kid's wants Laffy Taffy and they only have $1 and it's $2. Here, I'll buy it for you.
Right.
It's just fun to do that. And it passes so much joy along, and people that see that are in on that vibration, and it's just cool. Everybody wins.
Yeah, it
when
just
you do
spreads
stuff
the
like
joy.
that. Yeah.
The ripple
Yeah.
effect, right?
Yeah.
Like attracts like. Joy
Right.
attracts more joy.
That's right.
Appreciation attracts more appreciation. And money attracts more money.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing too, if even if you fill your car up before it's empty, why not fill it up when it's half full already? It doesn't cost as much and it feels good because you're like, I don't need this right now, but I can do it. I can fill it up.
I can fill up my tank.
Right.
Right now, depending on the tank that you have, could be only $10.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I feel good with that $10. It's
Mhm.
gonna keep me getting to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So try different things to help you stay in that good vibration. It's
just help
fun.
you flow.
It's just fun.
And if you don't want to spend any money, then vibrationally spend the money. Do the game.
Do the game
Where you have that $100 in your pocket. You vibrationally spend it everywhere. And you think about all the amazing things that you can do with that $100.
Yeah.
You could think about all the things you could buy. You could think about the things that you could do for the kids at the mall with that $100 and experience that joy in your imagination and get that flow going of all the fun and the joy and the things that the energy of abundance really is. It's that feeling of freedom. It's that feeling of fun and joy and excitement. Those are the vibrations that match your abundance.
Yeah.
So get in that whatever way you can.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter how you do it. Just do it.
Do it. Just do one thing. Do one thing. Do one thing that helps you feel more abundant and free and excited and joyful for life. Okay. PSA not over.
There's more.
There's more. There's always more, right? We love to have more. Okay, I don't remember where I was though. Oh, I think I was here.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And here's what we just said. Imagine
that.
Imagine. Find a way to ease your discomfort and eventually transform it into a feeling of hope and then positive expectation. And then from that stable place of feeling better, that feeling of freezing up will be replaced with confidence and enthusiasm. Whether you are focused upon the shortage of money or seeing yourself as having only so many years to live, and so each day that is expended is one day closer to the end of your years, that feeling of decline is contrary to your broader understanding of the eternal nature of your being.
That's so good.
It is so good.
Mhm.
It is so good because you are an eternal being
Right.
having an
Yeah.
experience on this planet, which is
Mhm.
also a very abundant experience, which has an infinite number of possibilities.
Yeah. Yep.
One good book about infinite possibilities is Infinite Possibilities by Mike Dooley.
Yes, I love him.
Which I stole from you.
I love him. He is so
You said at
good.
the rock shop, whatever book you want. I said, all right, that
It's
one's in my
so
arsenal.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, in the same way that you understand that you do not have to attempt the impossible task of drawing enough air into your lungs to last all day or all week or all year, but instead you easily breathe in and out, always receiving what you want or need whenever you want or need it. Money can flow in and out of your experience with the same ease once you achieve that expectation of eternal abundance. All of the money that you want is available for you to receive. All you have to do is allow it into your experience. And as the money flows in, you can gently allow it to flow out. For like the air you breathe, there will always be more to flow. You do not have to guard your money like holding your breath and not letting it out, because there will not be any more coming. More is coming. People sometimes protest that they tell their tales of shortage or scarcity, pointing out the reality of the shortage that they have experienced, witnessed, or heard about. And we understand that there are plenty of examples to point to of people who are experiencing shortages of many things that they desire. But we want you to understand that those experiences of shortage are not because abundance is not available, but because it is being disallowed. Continuing to tell stories of shortage only continues to contradict your desire for abundance, and you cannot have it both ways. You cannot focus upon unwanted and receive wanted. You cannot focus upon stories about money that make you feel uncomfortable and allow into your experience what makes you feel comfortable. You have to begin telling a different story if you want different results. We would begin by saying, I want to feel good. I want to feel productive and expansive. My thoughts are the basis for the attraction of all things that I consider to be good, which includes enough money for my comfort and joy, which includes health and wonderful people around me who are stimulating and uplifting and exciting. Begin telling the story of your desire and then add to it the details of the positive aspects that you can find that match those desires. And then embellish upon your positive expectation by speculating with your good feeling. Wouldn't it be nice if? Examples. Say things like, only good things come to me. Well, I don't have all of the answers, and while I don't allow all of the steps, and I can't identify all of the doors that will open for me, I know that as I move through time and space, the path will be obvious to me. I know I will be able to figure it out as I go along. Every time you tell your better feeling story, you will feel better, and the details of your life will improve. The better it gets, the better it gets.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. Feels so good.
And I mean, it really tells the story. And one of the things that you love to say is, how
does it get better than this?
How
Yeah.
does it get better than this?
Right.
And you look forward, you have that positive expectation
Yeah.
that better things are coming, and it won't be exciting to see them unfold.
Right.
And it's so fun, and life is an adventure. And
Mhm.
that's the story that Tracy is telling.
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're at a low point or at a high point. It can always get better, right? So how does it get better than this? Anytime, just throughout your day, you can keep asking because you're asking the universe and the universe replies.
Yeah, it's
The
responding.
Yeah, responds. That's a better word.
But replying, responding, it's the same.
Yeah. So, try that. Try some things. Just reading this book will help you.
This book is
Immensely.
amazing.
Yeah.
It is such a good book. We
Yeah.
just read just a couple of pages, really,
Right.
out of this whole book. And
Yeah.
as you read each piece, your point of attraction is changing and you're feeling better and better. I mean, as
Yeah,
I'm
you're-
reading, I can feel the difference in how I feel in my
Yeah.
energy.
And you probably read that book 10 times.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
I've read this book a lot, but like today I was reading it earlier and I felt better.
Yeah.
And now I'm reading it out loud to you and to
Yeah.
you, and
And you
I
feel
feel better
better.
and better and
Yeah.
better with each sentence that I read, and it's just like how can it get better than that?
Yeah.
Well, let me read on and tell you
Right.
how it can get better than that.
Yeah, it's about what you are filling your mind with, you know. If you fill your mind with junk and negative things, that's what's gonna come to you. But if you're filling it with good things and feeling good about it and constantly having things that are giving you hope and inspiration, that's when you're gonna stay on the right path longer and longer.
What is your primary focus?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you primarily feeling throughout the day?
Mhm.
Because what you're feeling the majority of your day will tell you where your focus is, and it'll tell you where vibration is, and it'll tell you where you have momentum. Do I
Yeah.
have momentum in a positive direction? Am I feeling good most of the day? Or do I
Mhm.
have momentum in a negative direction and I
Yeah.
need to pivot because I know that's not where I want to be?
Yeah.
And it just gives you it gives you insight into where you're at. And that's why emotions are wonderful. There's no good or bad emotions.
No.
There's good and bad feelings, but your emotions tell you where you're at. And that's the
Right.
beauty of them, is like it's telling you, okay, it's time for me to pivot.
Yeah.
Or okay, I'm doing really well. I'm going to continue along that vein. It's going
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah.
So it's about paying attention to that. Paying attention to your body and how it feels. Right, Tracy?
Geez, do
I
we
mean,
say
do we
that
ever say
every
that?
week?
Is that
I
something we ever
know.
talk about?
It's so good. And it's so simple, really, if we just let it be, allow it to be simple.
And you know what's
It is.
amazing? So that reminds me, I was going to talk about that analogy that I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
So we saw Abraham live in Denver, Colorado with some friends of ours.
Mhm.
And amazing experience. I highly recommend
If you
going
ever
live
get
if
a
you can.
chance to see Esther, go. It's life changing.
Yeah, I want to go again. I mean, if
Mhm.
she ever comes to this area, maybe even if she doesn't, we gotta find a way, because I adored that experience. It was one of
Yeah.
the best experiences of my life.
Mhm.
And there was one analogy. There's a few of them that really apply to this topic, but one came to mind when I was reading this. And this woman had come up and she was talking about a meditation that she had where there was a tree, and she was talking about her different experiences and feelings and thoughts when she had this tree in her meditation. And she asked Abraham, what did it mean? And they said that the meaning of the meditation was to be the tree, to be like the tree. And so she said, what does a tree do? A tree is just a tree. A tree is just being in the moment. And a tree
Mhm.
allows the resources it needs to come to it.
Yeah.
Just by being, it knows that it deserves to just have the resources that it needs, and allows that in so that it can continue to
Yeah.
be the tree. And so she was saying, be the tree. Allow the energy and the resources of the universe to come into your experience.
Yeah.
Basically, is what it was. And that really is illustrated in what's talked about here is your main action is to allow.
Mhm.
And to get into that space that allows the good things that you've already consciously created to begin to come into your experience.
Yeah.
And that's really your work.
Exactly. If you have a thought, if you have an inspiration, if you have an idea, God, the universe, whatever you call that for yourself, wouldn't put that in your mind if it wasn't possible for you to have it.
You wouldn't have the desire.
Yeah. So allow yourself to know that and to be aligned with that and to know that it's possible. Anything's possible. I mean, things in your life right now probably have some things have happened in your life from the time you were born till now that you never could have dreamed better than that, but they happened.
Right.
And it can happen like that all the time if we allow it in.
Right.
If we just align with that and know that you're worthy of whatever that is.
What surprises and delights await me today?
Yeah.
Is a good question to ask
Yeah.
yourself. I
Yeah.
love to ask that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to say to myself, especially if I catch myself kind of going in a different direction that I want to be in, is just the thought of remembering everything is working out for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything is working out for me.
Always working
No matter
out.
what my current circumstance is,
Yeah.
everything is working out for me. And that knowingness
Mm-hmm.
helps me to begin the pivot.
Right.
And because I know, and through doing a lot of readings and things, one of the things that's a theme that comes through a lot
Mm-hmm.
for people, and even for myself, is everything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is possible.
Everything is possible.
I mean, think of some of the wild stuff that has happened on this planet. You're like, how did that even happen?
Right.
That tells us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally everything
Mm-hmm.
is possible. And so what are you deliberately creating? And ask yourself that. My experience tells me what I've been creating. Is it what I want or is it not what I want?
Yeah.
And what am I going to do about it?
Yeah.
That's the question I really want to ask people sometimes. Well, what are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you can do about it. And we teach you a lot of those things.
Yeah.
But which one are you going to choose first? What's the one today?
Right. What wonderful thing can happen today?
Yeah. And what am I gonna what's the one thing I'm gonna do to begin that momentum towards it?
Yeah.
Am I just gonna listen to a really good feeling song? Am I going to do a meditation and consciously create some of the things that I want in my experience? Am I going to walk around and spend my $100 bill? I did that before I came today. I was thinking in my mind, like, ooh, I could buy this and I could do this and I could do this and I could do that.
Yeah.
And I thought about all of the things that I would do with my $100. I bet I spent $100,000 before I even got here in the car. And it felt
awesome.
really good to do that because it's like,
it does.
it's just
I
so
do that a lot.
It's a fun exercise.
Mm-hmm. It really is. And when you get in that mode of creation and that vibration of abundance, pretty soon the things that before you started you thought were really expensive, you're like, oh, that's not so much. What was I worried about way back here? It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see the difference in yourself and your mindset as you follow the path and
how it shifts.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. I have a little note on my mirror in my bathroom that says, I can paraphrase, but like, hello, beautiful, what grand and glorious adventures are we going to have today? Something like that. But it's like, yeah,
I love it.
You can have an adventure every day and it can be awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
What grand and glorious adventure am I going to have today?
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. It sets you up with positive expectation. Yeah. And that's really what they're talking about, is getting yourself into the mode of positive expectation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And expecting everything to work out for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's awesome. Well, that kind of wraps it in a nice little bow today.
I love it.
Yes.
Such a good topic.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on.
We can.
We should.
And we will. So next week.
We have more.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. So, Carissa, where can we find you in this wonderful world of webs?
In the webs world. You can find me on Facebook at Light of Hope Healing. Mm-hmm. You can find us collectively on Facebook at Our SoulSpace.
Yep.
You can find us here on YouTube at SoulSpace Podcast.
Yeah.
And you can find me on my Square site, which is light-of-hope-healing.square.site. Light of Hope Healing with a bunch of dashes. .square.site. So easy, right? Or go to my Facebook page and click the link to my Square site.
That's a good plan. That's a good plan. Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. And Tracy, where can people find you if they want to go a little deeper into what you're doing?
I am at inspiredsignals.com. All my links are there. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Inspired Signals and at Inspired Signals Studio. Oh,
Yes, for all your beautiful art stuff that you're creating and
artsy
doing
stuff.
more. And
Yeah, I
amazing
need to
things all the
take
time.
pictures and upload some new creations, but I'm behind on that.
Well, please do. We
I've
look
been
forward
in
to it.
learning mode lately. So.
You're
Yeah.
in creation mode, which is
I
very
am,
exciting, and we
yeah.
want to see more. So when you
It's
have the
fun.
opportunity, I think all of us are looking forward to
I
it.
will. Yeah. And also, if you want to learn Reiki, let me know. If you
Yes.
want to have a reading, Chris
Oh,
is
yeah.
an amazing medium.
I love readings.
Yes.
I love doing
Yes.
readings. It's one of the joys of my life,
It's
for
fun.
sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't do those, but I do card readings. Those
You
are
do
fun too.
wonderful
Yeah.
intuitive card
I'm
readings.
just medium per se.
Yeah.
A little bit I am, but not.
You
I don't do
are.
readings.
You kind of are. You dabble.
Yeah. I get messages when I'm doing Reiki a lot, but
Yeah.
otherwise I don't. But yeah.
We all receive things in different ways. But yes, I am a
Right.
spiritual baby. I love doing readings.
Yes. Yeah. Chris is awesome. So let her know on that. And you can do them online, right?
Oh yeah, I do tons of Zoom readings and phone readings for people all the time. So
Yeah.
hit me up for that if that's something that you're interested in. I do both spiritual mediumship where I speak with loved ones and ancestors. I also do angel and spirit guide readings where I communicate with people's spirit guides and angels to get messages to help them move forward in the highest best way.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
I love both. So
Such a fun world we live in.
it is with infinite possibilities, right?
Yes. I love that. That should be our tagline, I think.
I think so. Let's do it. You're going to see that on the bottom here when we're done.
All right. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you same place, same time next week.
Hi, guys.
Bye-bye.